Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another build in Chestnut Ridge because are we even surprised at this point? Honestly, I am completely obsessed with Chestnut Ridge at the moment and yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun building in this world, so I've decided to just embrace my sudden urge to just build ranch houses and farmhouses and all kinds of stuff like that, because it's not all that often that I get in the mood to build a house in this style or to build bigger houses, which most of my Chestnut Ridge houses have tended towards like the bigger side, if I'm being honest, because I don't know, I try to add as much on them as I can, like as much to do as I can. Same with this one is no exception. This is actually only on a 20 by 20 lot. It's built in the Galloping Gulch neighborhood, and I believe the original lot was called Canyon Crossing or something like that. It's the lot where Don Guzman and his, I almost said his dog, his horse Duke actually lives. So yeah, it's one of the 3 lots in the Galloping Gulch area of the world. It's actually, the original lot was built by Ninster for this one. But yeah, so I decided to unfortunately bulldoze Don's house, and I decided to build something completely different from what used to be here. So the original lot that was on this, like the original house that was on this lot was very cabiny, very like rustic, cabin in the middle of nowhere almost. But I went for something very much modern. So I wanted this to look like a modern farmhouse ranch kind of build type thing. I don't necessarily know if this would be considered a ranch or a farmhouse. Either way, it's definitely been updated and renovated and modernized quite a bit. So I wanted to go for a very black and white color scheme, kind of similar to the one that I actually uploaded yesterday. But the difference is that yesterday's build, which was that contemporary ranch house that I built that was only like a 1-story one, that was built with early access, so it was only like horse ranch and base game. Whereas this one is obviously in my normal game, so that's why I have my reshade and all of my other packs and all of that stuff. So yeah, I wanted to kind of like see what I could do with a lot of the ranch items, but using all of the other packs as well, and kind of like trying to make this modern style work in that sense. And I really like the way it turned out. It's actually not a super big house at all. Like I said, it's only on a 20 by 20 lot, but it ended up being 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So there's a really tiny bathroom upstairs that's just a shower, a toilet and a sink. I did play test it, it does work. And then downstairs off of the kitchen, we actually have the kind of like bigger bathroom that has a shower and tub combo and the toilet and a sink. But yeah, it's a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and I actually furnished it and like built it with a very big, like busy household in mind. So I figured that there would be 2 parents and then 2 kids, one of whom I figured would probably be a teenager, but not a super old teenager, like, going almost to university, like aged, but more so like maybe like 15 or something. Maybe they just turned into a teenager. But I figured they would be sharing a room with their youngest sibling, who would be a child. And that's the way I furnished kind of like the kids' bedroom. I furnished it for, in my head, it would be like 2 boys. They would be fairly close in age, but they're 2 boys. One of them obviously older than the other one. And then I figured, like I said, there would be 2 parents. And they would have a horse, because I did put in space for a horse. I do have a little horse stable attached to the house, and everything that you would need for a horse. Even though there isn't a lot of space on this lot, I didn't include any like training equipment like the barrels or the jumping thing or anything like that, because there are a couple of them quite close to this lot actually, just in the world surrounding it. So I figured it wouldn't be necessary. So yeah, there is space for a horse though. They obviously have their bed, their feeder, water, little ball that they can play with, all of that stuff. But I figured that the Sims that live here would also have a dog and a cat. So I do put in everything that you would need for both of those as well. So overall, I figured, it would be like 4 Sims a horse and a cat, so like it's a very busy household in my opinion. I do figure it would be quite a busy household, like there would be a lot going on at like all times. But yeah, I've actually managed to fit in everything that you would need for all of those. Like all of those Sims. Obviously I have all of the horse stuff, I have a cat tree, cat litter, you know, everything that you could need. I even have a dog bed in the parents' bedroom as well. I did size it down one. I used the big dog bed because I figured they would have a big dog. They wouldn't have like a small dog, they would have a big one. But I did size that dog bed down by one. I do still think that it is usable, even though it is sized down. I do think that functions kind of like a dollhouse in a sense where, you know, the big dogs can't sleep in the like technically small dog beds, like the ones that are classed as a small bed. But I believe if you size down the big ones, they can still use it. Same way that you know, can use a dollhouse if you've sized it down. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't playtest that. I did playtest everything else, but I didn't playtest it with a dog, like on the lot, to make sure that they could use it. But honestly, I don't know about you guys, but if you play with dogs or pets or anything like that, do they ever actually use the beds that you've like put down for them? Unless you've trained them to like not go on the furniture or anything like that, then, you know, usually my pets just sleep either on the couch if, you know, they haven't been trained to stay off the couches. But if they have, then even if they have a pet bed, they tend to just sleep on the floor. I've actually noticed that quite a lot, especially if my sim has like space in their bedroom and they have like open space in their bedroom and maybe they're close with their dog or their cat or whatever. They will tend to just sleep in my Sims' bedrooms. Even if they have a pet bed, they won't sleep in it. So I kind of just put the pet bed there as a realistic touch, whatever. But yeah, it's not probably not going to get used either way. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought I would mention that. But yeah, let me know if your pets ever actually sleep in their beds. Like, in real life, I know they're more likely to do it, but in The Sims, like, do they ever do that? Let me know, because I'm really curious to find out. But yeah, we've actually moved on to the interior of the house already. I did obviously cut out some things. I cut out me choosing the flooring, wallpapers, all of that stuff, because you can see it as I go through it. I also cut out me painting the ceilings, but I will show those to you in the tour at the end, because yeah, I did paint all of the ceilings. I've kind of been trying to make a point of remembering to do that, because it's one of those one of those features where it's still very new to me, and I sometimes still forget that we can do it. So afterwards, like after I've done the video or like done the build and I'm going through to do like final checks or whatever, I'll notice, oh shoot, I haven't painted the ceiling, so I'll have to do it like afterwards. But I did remember to do it in this one. I will show it to you at the end. But you'll notice that I did go for a very modern style. Like I said, I wanted to go for a very black and white style, but I also wanted to incorporate this green color that I actually have on the front door. I have it on the barn doors leading into the stables, and I decided to use those same doors. They're technically an archway because they can't close. They're technically like categorized as an archway. But I actually used them in the living room that leads into the kitchen as well, because I figured, you know, they do look like they could close, which I figured would be a good thing. You know, maybe just to, if you wanted to conserve heat or whatever, if you have the fireplace going, closing off the living room could be a really good thing to be able to do. And I also wanted to split level the living room and the kitchen. So the living room is a little bit lower down than the rest of the house. So I really like the way that turned out too. But yeah, so I'm actually obsessed with those barn doors, by the way. I've been using them in practically every build that I've done. If I can fit them, I will be using them because I love them. So yeah, we're using those barn doors, and I wanted to, like I said, incorporate that really dark green color. Now, I did try and use the new counters that we got with the pack, but again, they were just too rustic. Most of the other items from the pack, they have like plain black, plain white, and even a couple of other plain wood swatches as well that can be like versatile, and it doesn't necessarily need to just be for a rustic build. You can use it in more modern stuff. But those counters, they just don't have swatches like that. They only have like very worn out, almost like, I don't know, not handmade, but like rough swatches. And I didn't like the way they looked, and they also didn't really come in the colors that I wanted. They do come in a black and a white, but it's not as contemporary and modern as I wanted. So I just used counters from the Vampires pack actually, but I used them in a mismatched swatch. So at the for the counters we have that black and white, and then I actually used the upper head cabinets from that same set, but I used them in that green that kind of somewhat matched the rest of the green accents that I was trying to go for. It's not a perfect match, but it's close enough, I guess, that I felt okay with doing it. But yeah, right now we're actually working on the 2 bathrooms. They're very small bathrooms, but like I said, I did playtest the one upstairs and it does work, that layout. I figured it would just be nice to have, you know, maybe another really small bathroom upstairs, and then the one downstairs is probably the kind of like main one, maybe that the kids use more often, and the one upstairs is more so for like the parents or something. Even though it's not technically an ensuite, it is actually a whole bathroom. I don't know, I figured that would make sense. But yeah, so for the living room, like I said, it is a little bit like lower down. So we have the entryway that I actually ended up obviously like leaving at like the regular height of the rest of the house, like actual lot height, I guess you could say. But I ended up sectioning it off with some half walls, some columns and spandrels and stuff, and I carry through that kind of like brick texture flooring that I have on the outside on the little porch bit. I don't know, I figured it just carried that into the house quite nicely and made it look like a very much like separate entryway area. So that is where you would maybe like take off your shoes if you've come in from outside and they're like full of mud or dirt or whatever, and you would take off your shoes like on the actual brick and not like trick dirt and mud into the house onto the wooden floors and the rugs and all of that stuff. So I figured that would be a nice realistic touch, and again, it made the whole like transition, like having this like almost sunken down living room and then having the higher kitchen just make a little bit more sense as well. So yeah, I really like the way that turned out. And yeah, even though I obviously went for a more modern touch with the whole house, I did still use a couple of more traditional older items. I use that one tile desk that's actually from, I believe, the Werewolves pack. I don't know, I thought it fit in really well. Obviously I'm using a lot of older doors and windows and, you know, wooden swatches of items as well. I have that really big brick or like stone fireplace, and I'm using a lot of black. Like I said, I'm using a lot of plain black items. I have actually a more worn looking like armchair, that recliner thing from the Basement Treasures kit. It's not technically a recliner, it's just a chair, but it looks like a recliner and it's a little bit more worn. So I have that one. I have a rocking chair that's actually from Growing Together, and then I paired it with a sofa from the Desert Luxe kit. So there's a lot of different styles of items in this house that I figured, you know, yes, I wanted to make it more like modern looking, but still have that ranch touch, obviously, with some of the ranch items, some of that more like rustic, I guess modern rustic, or like whatever you would call that. I don't know what you would call that style, but I wanted obviously to make it look like that, but I also wanted it to be a little bit mismatched. So it's not super mismatched. It's not like boho style or, you know, thrift style or anything like that, but I did want to add in a couple of items that, you know, it doesn't look like they have a like dedicated living room set, if that makes sense. Same with the main bedroom that we're actually working on right now. I used this really old looking standing mirror from the Basement Treasures kit, but then we have these more modern, like, I guess you could say like curtains and curtain rails, and we have the more older looking ranch bed and end tables, but then we have those modern, very modern contemporary clothing racks instead of having a like proper dresser, for example. So yeah, I really like doing stuff like that, and then also bringing in some more of this like ranch traditional artwork with the tapestries, and then Actually, I end up swapping out those tapestries right above the end tables, the bedside tables. I ended up swapping them out for these pictures that came with, I think, the Book Nook kit. I really love those picture frames, so I ended up swapping out those, and then just cluttering up, obviously, the clothing racks, adding clutter to that, adding some makeup bits and baubles and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I did cut out quite a fair bit of, like, just cluttering that I did in this build. I've been trying to do that a little bit more with my builds, just so that they're not as long, and also because I'm doing the live tours at the end. I figured it would be a nice compromise if I could make the speed build portions a little bit shorter by cutting out more than I would usually cut out, but then obviously showing it all off a little bit more in detail at the end in this, like in the tour. So I figured that would make sense. But yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think about that, because I know a couple of people prefer having screenshots at the end. And I know when I started doing these live tours for my videos, I told you guys that they wouldn't replace the screenshots. But honestly, at this point, they literally have replaced the screenshots, because I used to do screenshots, obviously, but I don't know, I haven't done screenshots at the end of a video in months, like months and months. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think about that. I know since the last time I asked about it, the channel has grown quite a bit. So yeah, let me know if you prefer screenshots at the end of a speed build, or if you prefer a live tour, because I know people usually prefer either or they like don't mind. If you don't mind, then definitely let me know that as well. But yeah, we're going to be doing a live tour at the end of this one in any case. But we're actually currently working on the kids' bedroom, and as you can see, I did obviously use the new bunk bed that came with the pack. I wanted to use that little like blue and yellow sheep swatch of it for the top bunk, and then I actually swapped out the bottom bunk for a bed from, I believe, Snowy Escape, that actually came in this really nice blue color. So I decided to embrace the blue vibes, and they have this really bright blue desk and, you know, a couple of more modern items like the bouquets, but then they also have, you know, the bouquets and the end table are a little bit more modern, and then we have the dresser from the pack, and obviously the desk and the chair. That's definitely a little bit more rustic, you know, trying to hit that, I guess, balance between rustic and modern. And then I also used the little toy box actually from Growing Together that also looks a little bit more worn and scuffed, and maybe it's like a hand-me-down from one of the parents from when they were kids maybe. And yeah, I don't know, I figured that that room looked really cute at the end with all of the blue, and kind of making it like, trying to make it look like it's a blend of those two different Sims, if that makes sense. And then I actually did end up putting in a dollhouse on the exterior of the build, funnily enough, right in front of that little stables thing, because I couldn't think of anywhere else that I could possibly put it where it would work, but I still really wanted to use it. So yeah, it ended up going in there, and I do think that that's fairly fine. I mean, I don't think it will cause any issues or anything like that. And it doesn't necessarily look like an indoor item either, so yeah, I figure that's fine. And it's still undercover as well, because I do have that little like awning roof bits over the front of that. So yeah, I figured that would be totally fine. But we started on the landscaping. I didn't do too much with the landscaping. I mostly only used a couple of hedges and a few bushes. I didn't really go super flowery or anything like that, just because it didn't really fit the vibe of the place, if I'm being completely honest. Oh yeah, up here on the balcony, the little balcony that comes off of the parents' bedroom, I just put down a yoga mat and a couple of those, like, I guess they're technically manicure and pedicure chairs from Spa Day, from the Spa Day refresh that we got. But I figured they kind of look like really comfortable, like lounging chairs, like, you know, very comfortable, like, I guess outdoor patio lounge chair type things. I don't know if they would work like that. Obviously, I don't know if your Sims can just sit in them for no reason, or if, you know, they can only sit in them if they're getting like a manicure, pedicure, or hand and foot massages. But I figured, you know, in any case, it fit the vibe, it looked really cool, and I don't know, I like the way it looked. Feel free to swap them out for other chairs if you really wanted to. But yeah, so the rest of the yard, there isn't a lot of it, if I'm being completely honest. We do have, obviously, this little backyard area where I do put in a grill. I do put in that picnic bench from, I believe, Outdoor Retreat actually, and then that like debug umbrella. And yes, I am using the fire pit from the new pack again because I've been using it in like every single build that I've done. Sue me, okay? Like, I really like that fire pit. It's a really nice family activity, and I don't know, it fits into a world like this so well that I couldn't bring myself to not use it. So I did make space for it in the backyard, and I don't think it should be like causing any issues. I don't know, fire pits in this game tend to catch fire quite a lot, and really randomly for some reason. Some items will catch fire if they're close to it, some items won't. It's very weird. But anyway, I do have that back there. And then the front yard is mostly just open space. I do a little bit of landscaping obviously, but I wanted to leave it a little bit more open so that the horse could root around fairly easily. So there's like a couple of spaces where they can enter obviously the yard and then like get to their stables, they can get to their water, they can get to their ball as well. But yeah, with all of that said, this is basically almost done. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and jump into the game and into the tour portion. Okay, so here we are on the finished build. And as you can see, I do have a couple of Sims here playtesting it. But yeah, so this is the Canyon Crossing lot, like I mentioned. It ended up being, I believe, it ended actually up being 78,000 simoleons, 78,632 simoleons. So yeah, it's quite pricey. And I also did give it the peace and quiet and sunny aspect lot trait as well. But yeah, so this is the little finished build. Obviously, we have the little outdoor space. I don't know if I did these lights off camera or not, but I do have a couple of lights all around the place just to make it nice and bright in evening times. But yeah, we have the little horse space out the front, obviously the little water trough, and then the little pathway that goes out the back where we have the grill, obviously the bins, the little fire pit, little like, you know, bench, picnic bench. And then I did also put in a little bee box and a couple of planters in case your Sims maybe want to grow, I don't know, some grapes or some produce or whatever. But going into the house itself, let's start off with the little stables. So yeah, we do have a little stables over here. I tried not to clutter it up too much, like on the walls and stuff, just because I didn't want to potentially cause any issues with like rooting or anything like that. But I did playtest it. The horse was just eating out of this, so that works. The little cat carrier, not carrier, litter box, everything like that does work, and the bed as well. But going in the front, obviously we have the front door, we have the little like entryway that I told you guys about. That's where you would maybe like take off your shoes and stuff so that you're not trekking like muddy footprints all over the nice dark wooden floorboards and stuff, or like over the very light colored rug. But yeah, out here in the front we have a little cat tree. We have obviously the main living room space where we have a little fireplace or big fireplace, couple of bookshelves, a little game console, obviously a lot of seating, a little like a rocking chair as well. And then we have a little desk set up in here in the little corner space. The little nook, I cannot speak today, the little nook by the staircase. We have a little desk with a laptop on it. Then obviously we have these big barn doors that I'm absolutely obsessed with, that leads you into the main kitchen. Or not, I don't know why I say main kitchen, it's the only kitchen, but it leads you into the kitchen where we have obviously, you know, everything that you would need. I did make sure to leave at least one completely empty counter for your Sims to cook on, because on this counter I think they should still be able to cook on this. But I did put the cat food bowl on the counter itself because I figured, you know, in our house we do have the cat food on the counter, like not where we make food or anything like that, but like on a completely separate counter is actually where we have our cat food, because otherwise the dog would eat it. So yeah, we have that over there for the cat, and then over here in the corner we have the dog food bowls, which I do think they would be able to access because Sims pets are fairly smart about stuff like that. if they can't access that, then maybe just move them into this space over there. I did play around with putting them over there, and that does work. So you can just put them by the horse bed if you wanted to. But yeah, so we have a little coffee maker, obviously, sink, you know, everything that you would need, a dishwasher, all of that stuff. A little dining table as well for foursomes with some nectar racks over here in the corner with just some clutter and all of that stuff. I do have a thermostat in here as well. And I also have a fire alarm somewhere. I believe I put one in. I must have. Oh yeah, over there by the door. We do have a fire alarm. And then off of the kitchen, we have our like main bathroom. I say like main as in it's the biggest one. But yeah, this is the one that has the shower and tub combo, obviously. I did, like I said, stick with a very black and white color scheme throughout this whole house. So I used a lot of black and white furniture. But yeah, that is basically the entire first floor. Now, going upstairs, we have a little landing space, very tiny little hallway, but this is actually where I put some pet toys for the dog and the cat. So we have that, and then we have the little tiny bathroom upstairs that I did playtest. It does work. The shower, the sink, the toilet, all of that stuff does work. But yeah, we have another little bathroom up there. Then we have the big, nice, like, parents' bedroom. This is probably one of the darkest rooms in the house with, like, this dark blue wallpaper and all of the dark wood. But I really like the way it turned out. So, yeah, we have the bed from the new pack, obviously the rug and all of that stuff. But the more, like, older, kind of, like, worn and scuffed up mirror. And then we have the big, modern clothes racks as well that, like I said, I did end up cluttering them up quite a bit to make them look nice and, you know, lived in, all of that stuff. And yeah, we just have those paintings, the little dog bed that I did, like I mentioned, I did size it down by one, but it should still work either way. You know, like I said, in my game, like, pets very rarely actually use the pet beds, so it might be worth just like deleting it altogether, to be honest. And then, yeah, we just have that little, like, front balcony space for the parents as well. Maybe they can do some nice yoga out here or have their morning coffee or whatever. And then at the back of the house, we actually have the kids' bedroom. That's, again, a nice mix of that more rustic, you know, items, more rustic items from the pack, and then some more modern, contemporary stuff that's probably a little bit newer as well. But yeah, we have the bunk beds. I figured, you know, the top one would be for a kid, and then the bottom one I did furnish or like decorate the wall more for like a teenager, obviously. And the bedside table with, you know, a little bit more teenagery stuff. We have a guitar at the foot of the bed as well. This guitar, as well as this wagon wheel item that I've been using in a lot of my builds recently. Not a lot of the ones that you guys have seen, because most of the stuff that I've been posting has been early access items or like early access builds. But all of this, like, builds that I've been doing with the pack in my normal game, I've been using this item and this guitar in like every single one of them, if I'm being completely honest. So those two items, along with this rocking chair, the one with the star in it, they're actually those not pre-order, but like early purchase bonus items that you get if you buy the pack before, I believe, August 30th is the cutoff date for that. But yeah, I have been using them in quite a few builds. I do apologize, but I really like them. So yeah, I figured the teenager might be into music or whatever. So that's just what I did there. And then obviously we have, you know, some clutter, obviously like a bouquet, some seating. I have the little toy box that I told you guys I figured might be, you know, a hand-me-down from one of the parents. So that's why it looks a little bit older. We have this very older, more like vintage looking like wardrobe and stuff. Also this desk that I figured, you know, it is an older looking desk, but maybe they've painted it themselves. They've like they've not varnished it, but they've, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the English word for it right now and I just cannot. But basically they've removed all of like the old paint and they've kind of repainted it this bright blue color. And then, yeah, I just put some clutter up, obviously, some posters, very teenage type kid and teenage type stuff. I cannot speak. It's been a very long day. But yeah, that is basically the entire build, you guys. So I'm just going to give you a quick top-down view of the whole lot. So this is it with the grid on, just a little floor plan pan shot, and then the first floor as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you do want to download this, I do have my gallery ID as well as a direct download link to the gallery website in the description down below. And if you want to get the tray files, then they are up on the community tab for channel members for the second and third tiers of channel members, if you want to grab those. But if you want to wait for them, then they will be up on my Tumblr in about 3 weeks time. So that is all linked down below in the description if you want to find out more about channel memberships and how to support the channel in a more monetary way, if that's something that you're able to do and you want to do. No pressure, obviously, but it's always super appreciated. Then just click the little join button that's right next to the subscribe button, and it will give you a lot of more information about channel memberships, how that works, all of the different perks and stuff like that that you end up getting. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I hope you're having a great week. I hope you enjoyed all of the videos recently. I probably won't have another video out over the weekend. We'll probably like start fresh on like Monday or maybe Tuesday and have another video out then. I'm not exactly sure, but I probably won't have one over the weekend because I'm just going to be really busy and I won't have time probably to get another video done. But I hope you enjoyed all of the videos recently. I hope you enjoyed all of the ranch videos, like early access videos and ranch builds and all of that stuff. And if you if you play in any of my builds, feel free to tag me in pictures over on Twitter or Threads or in our Discord server. All of my links for all of those things and an invite link to the Discord is all in the description as usual. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like I said, give the video a like, all of that fun YouTube stuff, and I will talk to you guys all in my very next video. Bye everyone.